When you have a cold or when you have a flu, what's the first thing that happens? Your body temperature rises. That's what's happening to the earth. And then what happens? You expel things. You cough, you sneeze, you throw up, you shit your pants, if you're me, trying to have a sexy vacation. Bitch, this section f***ed me up. Because R.J. Spina, who wrote Supercharged Self-Healing, a revolutionary guide to access high-frequency states of consciousness that rejuvenate and repair. I'm not going to read it like that, don't worry. He was paralyzed from the chest down, given 2 weeks to live, or 2 months, who knows? What did I say? I don't know what I said. And he healed himself. He completely healed himself because guess what? Everything that we've been taught is incorrect. It's incorrect. You are not your body, you are sentience, okay? So I'm gonna read a couple pages of step 4. This is he has a technique called the Ascend the Frequencies Healing Technique. Now, if you're somebody who watches the news all the time, has all this fear mongering, I think it's safe to say you're fucking with some low frequency vibes, okay? We all know when we're doing something that's like high frequency that feels good. He healed himself because he was able to ascend these low frequency vibes that are shoved in our face daily by multiple sources. Okay, so it's not just extremely easy to do what he's doing, but it can be done. It can be done. Oh, and this is one thing before I start reading. I said this on my Patreon, and I really mean it. And I was like, I'm going to share this here. The most whole I feel is when I do something good for somebody and nobody knows about it. The person I did something good for does not know about it, and I don't tell anybody about it. Whether it's obviously if you volunteer, they're going to know because they're going to see you. But like just doing something, donating anonymously, every time I do that, I'm like, that's the way to go. Because there's no way your ego's wrapped up in it because you're not telling people. You're not going, guys, I'm a really good person, okay? Look what I did for the poors. Look what I did for the elderly, you know? Just so I challenge you or encourage you. It's not a challenge because it's fun. Do something this week, good for somebody, and don't tell anybody. Don't tell a soul. Don't tell them if you can help it, you know? Or just volunteer. It's a way that we're reminded that like humanity is good because we're really being forced to think it's bad all the time, and it's just not. And guess what? I just Palo Santo'd the whole fucking world, so we're gonna be okay. All right. Step 4 in R.J. Spina's Ascend the Frequencies healing technique is to command creator consciousness. I want to read a few pages, and then I'm going to continue the reading on patreon.com/Christina Hutchinson. $5 is if you pick the level that's just here to listen. You can listen to all the group Sherapy Zooms, including the most recent one that was so fucking good. And then all these bonus readings. Okay? Your girl needs to pay back the IRS, okay? The building blocks of our physical form, which have been called energetic templates, originate and exist in much higher and significantly more subtle frequencies than our 5 physical senses perceive. That's the other thing about these high frequencies. They're subtle as shit. So oftentimes we listen to the voice in our head that's jumping up and down and screaming when it's actually the voice in our head that we should listen to is the one going, hey, maybe you don't want to do that, you know? But instead we're going, wait, I should do that? You know, we're tending to the screaming child within us. Story of my life, whatever. Hopefully this ketamine goes well. By applying step 4, we learn how to access these higher states of consciousness and repair and heal ourselves at the root and not just treat the symptoms, which is what Western medicine is mostly. The tangible and direct experience of higher states of consciousness provides you with a greater sense of the expanded total self and subsequently an enhanced quality of life. Well, that's just something I want for me and you and everybody. By now, you know you're not the physical body. That's just the vehicle. Your body is a rental car, baby, or the egoic identity. That's the belief-based character we create. Through non-identification with the finite mind's self-created program of limitations and non-identification with the physical body, you can directly experience more of your total self and higher consciousness. Once your sentience has deepened and accrued sufficiently through experience, authentic self-realization becomes possible. I love that he says authentic because there's so many like fucking spiritual people online that like that's their identity. And I'm like, boo, you're running away from something. And it's weird. And we all see it. And no one's saying shit because you're probably going to freak out. But it's weird. Okay? It is from these exalted states of being that I tangibly understood how to heal my paralyzed and ravaged body. You too will eventually do this. Some of you are ready right now, and that is why this bolt of lightning is in your hands. Ew, I love that. Step 4 provides access to the higher frequencies and dimensional constructs within and beyond the physical universe. The finite mind and its limited concept of itself cannot function in states of limitless consciousness. You are going to discover higher frequencies where the energetic force of intention can co-create its reality instantaneously. Oh, I love that word. Because of the faster, more holistic vibratory rate of the environment. I'm so glad I just Palo Santo the earth, you guys. This is a more expansive state of creator consciousness. In ancient texts, it was referred to as the realm of the gods. Oh, that reminds me of one near-death experience video that I watched where this guy was saying, and it all made sense. The guy that I said talked so beautifully, he was a TV producer. He was shown when he was dead, he was shown all this stuff about Earth. And the Atlanteans had such advanced technology, and this is kind of something that's already historically known. The entire civilization was wiped out with a flood because they were abusing the Earth. Okay? They were fucking the environment. They were fucking Mother Earth. And he went on to say, when you have a cold or when you have a flu, what's the first thing that happens? Your body temperature rises. That's what's happening to the Earth. And then what happens? You expel things. You cough, you sneeze, you throw up, you shit your pants, if you're me, trying to have a sexy vacation. And so that's just the Earth just trying to get rid of all the damage that we've done to it. And then he went on to say, apparently they weren't allowed to return. They weren't allowed to reincarnate on Earth because they fucked it up so bad for 10,000 years. That was in 1900 would be the 10,000 year mark, this guy said. We'll never know if this is true, but I take it as maybe it is. And then he said they reincarnated back on Earth in the 1900s. And if you look back historically, the amount that technology skyrocketed started around then. The fucking printing press, all this shit, cars, We're not riding around in a horse and buggy anymore. We got vehicles. And then, my God, I mean, if you're a millennial and you remember being 10, ain't nobody editing videos on your phone. What's a phone? We didn't know what that shit was. The amount that technology has expanded in such a short amount of time is a little jarring. But this guy was saying something interesting. He was like, the Atlanteans started reincarnating again and they remembered all this technological shit. So they're like, all right, I don't know where this idea came from, because we were all born with a little amnesia when we reincarnate. Apparently, I'll never know. Well, we will know one day because we're all going to die. And that's kind of nice. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Anyway, back to fucking RJ, okay? Higher intuitive functions. The more sentient the entity/being is, the greater its bandwidth and sensitivity. Oh, God, that I have so much sentience. Think of an old black and white television set with the rabbit ears. Those antiquated devices have very limited bandwidth and poor receptivity. Now imagine today's smart TVs with super processors that provide incredible sensitivity, capabilities, and amazing functionality. More evolved sentience, when we access it directly, allows greater receptivity to its own wisdom, love, and power, as well as these corresponding attributes within the greater reality. Oh, I love where this is going. The deeper the reservoir of timeless wisdom and unconditional love, the more powerful and gentle you will become. Well, fucking A, I'm fucking highlighting that and making that the fucking title of this episode. I love that. Powerful and gentle. What a fucking concept. What a fucking concept, Myanmar. What a fucking concept, Israel, Iraq. What a powerful and gentle. Almost feels like that's the way to go. You realize the subtle and divine nature of existence while accessing the subtle and divine nature within yourself. This requires a different kind of inner attention and sensitivity. This delicate and subtle yet powerful and illuminating inner awareness is represented by our higher intuitive functions, which, when seen as a whole, represent true creator consciousness. Higher intuitive functions can include, but are not limited to, the following. And these are all the clairs. Oh, I love that. I've had so many people go over this list with me, and every time I'm like, this is so exciting. We all have these abilities, guys. Clairsentience, which is intuitive knowing by feeling. I got that. Oh, boy, I got that. I feel like I knew that there was a dead guy under that sheet this morning, Clairvoyance, which is intuitive knowing by seeing. Clairaudience, intuitive hearing. Claircognizance, intuitive knowledge or wisdom. Clairempathy, I never heard of that one. Intuitive feeling by emotion. Oh, definitely had that. Clairtaction, intuitive touch. Oh, cool. Ew, weird. Intuitive touch. Wait, is that like for sex? Claireloquence, intuitive communicating. Clairfactance, intuitive smell. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Clairgustance, which is intuitive taste. Clairessence, intuitive embodiment, or the master of all intuitiveness. Ooh, I want that one. Can I have that one, God? Come on. These are not by any stretch of the imagination the totality of higher intuitive functions, but rather a small sampling of what you are capable of when you go beyond the very limited low frequency realm of the physical senses, which produces our grandest delusion, so-called knowledge. Ooh, okay. You can think of sentience, the self, as one gigantic eyeball, pure perception that has literally millions of sensors. Built into this screen of consciousness is your depth of self-understanding. The ability to use your higher intuitive functions comes online as you surrender to the self. They already exist within you. That's a very important part. They already exist within you, motherfucker. Okay? They are you, really. The combination of surrender and silence is kryptonite to the egoic identity and unleashes the true love, wisdom, and power of the total self. When we are not using the more subtle and divine nature of our attention, things are mistakenly labeled with a broad brush, such as judging something as simply conscious or not conscious. This misses the entire spectrum and degree of sentient self-awareness contained within the object being perceived. It's like judging a book by its cover or looking at a dolphin and assuming it's just a fish. Dumbass. Recognizing sentience. In regard to self-awareness and self-healing, understanding the difference between what you really are, which is sentience, and what you use to create energy is paramount. It is your sentient directed energy that you will learn to use powerfully and properly in order to help heal the physical body. To easily and tangibly understand the difference between sentience and energy, all we have to do is examine ourselves. So go masturbate. That's not what he meant. When you want to touch your head, it's your sentience that commands the energy within the body to lift your arm. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cute. This process of your sentience commanding the energy within the physical body to perform an act is constant and perpetual throughout your entire life. You're telling me, Doc. Your sentience commands the energy within your body and within your larger body of energy. The body experiences your command as an electrical impulse through your nervous system that contracts the muscles in your arms around your bones in order to raise the hand to your head. Sentience commands our entire body of energy always. Thinking works the exact same way. Sentience commands energy into the mental body, which then uses the programs of logic and linear to, quote, think. We, sentience, simply have not achieved the prerequisite level of detachment with creations, such as belief, thought, emotions, or even the physical body, in order to master and heal our entire body of energy. Our primary and most intimate creation is the egoic identity, and we have become intoxicated by its delusions because we never take our attention off of it. That is social media in a nutshell. We lose the self in our obsession with the egoic identity and, in the process, our freedom, divinity, imagination, and power. Guys, I'm going to read the rest of that chapter on my Patreon. If you're listening to this episode, it's already up. Patreon.com/Christina Hutchinson. If you got a globe and you got some sage and you got some Palo Santo, how about we just fucking smudge the earth, because it would be nice. If we all smudge the earth or use some Palo Santo, motherfuckers put their guns down. That's my hopeful thinking. I've been addicted to many drugs in my life and many men, but by far, my most debilitating addiction is to hope. But whatever, I'm not going to stop that one, okay? Guys, congratulations on still being here. I'm proud of you. You can do it. And I'll talk to you next week.
Someday we'll be friends with the voices in our heads. The voices in our heads.